Hello and welcome to another episode of BZG's Talking Shit. My name is Barrett Courtney, as always. I am your host, and here, joined with me, are my great co-hosts and even better friends. The bisexist from Texas, Henry Montiero. What's up, Henry? How you doing today?
Tennis!
And in between us is my favorite chunky punk, Ricky Baldazan. What's up, Ricky? You back.
Baseball!
If you don't know what we do here, Talking Shit, one of us brings in a topic of discussion, and then we talk some shit about that topic. And today's topic comes from the bisexist, Henry. Henry, what did you want to talk about today?
IGN, they suck. Give me money.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it because you don't know how to introduce this topic. I love you though. We were talking about this last week on the Shitcast. If you know what the Shitcast is, check out our SoundCloud page.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's in the link. It's in the link below. So last week on the Shitcast, we were talking about the current IGN top 100 video games of all time
And how it's wrong, yes.
There are some things I agree with. There are some things I don't. And what we're gonna ask of you, audience, that are watching, I'm going to leave a comment, and it's going to be the 100 list. You can reference that while we talk about this list, because I'm not going to go through and be like, 100, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say all that shit. So if you need references to what we're talking about, just look at that comment. I'll leave it. It'll be the only comment of this video. Don't worry. You won't lose it. So I've got some problems with this list.
Tell me 99.
Fucking Ico at 93.
I don't know. I think Ico and Shadow of the Colossus are overhyped. So here, just I'm gonna talk about. There are some specific games that I'm gonna talk about that I have problems with, and then when we get to the top 10, I'm gonna talk about a more general problem that I have with IGN right now with their list.
Ricky, can you make that face again?
No, not now.
So number 96, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. It should be higher. It's a better game than Ocarina, to be honest.
Duh.
Yeah.
They're doing that because they want to seem cool and like,
No, you think being hipsters and being cool and stuff, we'll get to fucking that. So number 91, Batman Arkham Asylum. This is the only Arkham game, The Secret of Monkey Island? Or Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, The Secret of Monkey Island.
That game is great.
Yeah,
You're thinking of Monkey Ball.
You're thinking of Monkey Ball.
I think I actually am.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
The Secret of Monkey Island is fucking hilarious.
The Secret of Monkey Ball.
I was about to be like, why is that on here?
Look at this.
That was like one of the didn't Schaefer work on that when he was at LucasArts?
Secret of Monkey Island, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
Don't nod your head like you fucking know. You're thinking of Monkey Ball.
Right, Monkey
Yeah,
Ball.
Tim Schafer made Monkey Ball.
I don't have a problem that Arkham Asylum is this low on the list. My problem is that Arkham City isn't on this list at all. I think it's a better game. Yeah, you can think of Asylum. It has like this great tone of Batman, but Arkham City is a better game. It's like I'm looking at this list objectively, and I feel like a lot of people didn't do that when creating this list.
Did you just fucking sniff me?
You smell like raisins.
And my other complaint about Batman Arkham Asylum is, okay, I can accept that it's this low on the list, but fucking Zork, the Great Underground Empire, is higher than Arkham Asylum?
Well, yeah, that's the perfect game.
No, it's not. I can understand it's a text-based game where it's all about typing and
Fight me
finding
on
shit.
the beaches. Fight me on their soil.
Like, I just don't understand, like, yeah, it's one of like the first text-based games, and it started a lot of RPG elements and whatnot, but just because you did it first doesn't mean you're the best one who did it. That's all I'm going to say. There's a lot of those cases in this list. We're going to move down. GoldenEye 007 is only at 66. How is that not in your top 15? And then this is the exception, I'll say, is GoldenEye was one of the first like multiplayer like first person shooters, but it did it so fucking well.
Why the fuck is Team Fortress higher than that?
Yeah, Team Fortress 2 is better than GoldenEye 007. People still try to fucking find N64s to still play that game.
They put GoldenEye that low because they're all just like, fucking odd job.
I don't even think Skyrim should be above GoldenEye, and I love Skyrim.
Yeah, and like, I don't have a problem with Fallout 3 being that low. I think it's a really good game, and I think it deserves to be in the top 100. I don't think it deserves to be super high.
Number 3, Sudoku.
And that, like... It's their right. They're allowed to feel this way about certain things, but when you make a top 100 list of like best games, not like your favorite games like we did as topics, best games, you got to look at it objectively, because I have a lot of problems with the list later on. The Last of Us is somehow not in the top 15. It's at number 48. Don't fucking understand that shit.
That surprised
That's the
me.
first thing I thought of when you told me.
And then
it's interesting.
somehow Uncharted 2 is better than The Last of Us, which I don't agree with. If you saw my quick review for this week, I reviewed Uncharted 2, and as a little preview to my quick review next week of Uncharted 3, I think Uncharted 3 should be the one Uncharted game on this list, and I think it should be higher than 47.
What the fuck? This list is retarded.
BioShock,
Language.
I can understand. I can understand it being in the 30s. Where the fuck is Infinite?
I'm sorry. Keep talking. Add another one there.
Oh, it's bothering you?
It's so bothering me. I can't stand that.
I did it on purpose because I know you like that game.
Oh no!
Originally, if you're looking at the list, originally I didn't have like another hyphen.
No, wait,
after,
parenthesis.
Parenthesis after 2005 for Shadow of the Colossus. So, yeah, sorry about that, Ricky. Number 32 is Rock Band. Not 2, not 3, but Rock Band. It should be Rock Band 2, and it should be lower on the list.
I think I love Rock Band. I still think it should be like in the 60s or 70s.
And that's coming from one of the biggest Rock Band people, like ever. Not of BCG, like that's obvious. Like you're the biggest Rock Band person of BCG, but I think of like anyone I've met ever.
This list is literally stressing me out right now. So,
Like-
Red Dead, I can understand being 20s. Final Fantasy 6, yeah. Castlevania, yeah. Half-Life, sure, whatever. Sid Meier's Civ, if that's your thing.
I like Civilization.
Number 23, Star Wars TIE Fighter. Out of all of the fucking Star Wars games, this is the highest one. This is the best Star Wars game.
in the past 3 minutes, I've gained a headache. I'm not even kidding.
Here, Zippy. This doesn't stop.
And I'm leading up to something here. You might be like, Barrett, you don't understand. You didn't grow up in that generation. Like, you don't understand these games. I'm leading up to something here, guys.
And that is that the best Star Wars game is definitively
Whoa.
the arcade.
So, Grand Theft Auto, we'll get to that. Grand Theft Auto 5, I think should have been lower. It's at number 16. They rated it as like a perfect 10 out of 10, a masterpiece. I don't want to say perfect. Scratch that. I know 10 out of 10s aren't supposed to be considered perfect, but they're masterpieces. But when you look at the Grand Theft Auto 5 game, besides the heists themselves, what is good about that game?
The way it's like
I have a
shoot.
gun and I go
The
shoot.
way you have to drive from one end of the map to the other, and it takes like fucking 20 minutes.
The way that when you shoot, it's like a kill.
Like I know the dialogue's great,
I go
the
to the
story's
strip
fucking
club
funny,
and then there be titties.
but like
A out of A.
besides the heists, which were fucking awesome, like
Yeah.
you had to collect all of this stuff, and like collecting it wasn't fun, and it's just I don't know. I personally think it should be lower.
Like I love that game, but it shouldn't be.
Minecraft at number 15. I can understand Minecraft is one of the best-selling games of all time, but what the fuck is the game? That's like saying Legos is the best board game of all time.
Hold on, Barrett.
I'm sorry. It's like saying the Legos is the best board game of all time.
Hold
That
on,
doesn't
Barrett.
make sense.
Barrett.
Now, the Lego video games are actual video games where there's video game elements and all this stuff. Minecraft is fucking just building shit. What is the game?
So you're telling me a game, which is like one of the most successful games of this generation, right?
Ever.
That pretty much looks like the game that What's-Her-Face is playing high in the beginning of Smiley Face shouldn't be on this list. You're insane.
To me,
Fuck Minecraft.
it's like if they have a game that's like popular with that group of people, I'd rather it be this than like Angry Birds.
Yeah. Well, there's no way any fucking mobile game would ever get on this list. If a mobile game got in the fucking top 100, I'd fucking swear off IGN for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 48, Tiny Tower. My wife plays
Number
this game a
14,
lot.
Super Mario World. And I have a problem with this because it should be higher.
Yeah.
Their number one game of all time is Super Mario Brothers 3. World is a much better game. And for many different reasons. The soundtrack's better, the gameplay feels way better. The art style, and I don't want you guys to get confused with the game looks like it's prettier. Like no shit, it came out after 3. It's gonna look better.
I think Super Mario Bros. 3 is a beautiful game, if you ask me.
I think it looks good. But I think the art style for World is much better. And it's not to say that, like, oh, this is so graphically advanced, it's so much better. But just the style of the art is more appealing. So,
If you ask me, they're both phenomenal games. So.
yeah, and I'm not saying that 3 is bad. Again, that's not...
It's amazing.
None of these games, with the exception of Minecraft, I believe, and Zork, are bad games.
Just keeps ripping on Zork.
Super Mario 64 is number 11. I
should have been lower.
I understand, but Super Mario 64 is a tech demo. It feels empty.
Super Mario
Doesn't hold
64
up.
is the definition of game that used to be amazing and has aged like
Terribly.
milk.
Yeah, it's so bad now.
Like, compare it to Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy will age like bourbon.
So, and now I'm just going to list the top 10 here. Number 10, Tetris. I can understand that.
Makes sense.
Tetris is like on every fucking thing ever, and it's so addicting, and it's fucking
Who doesn't?
whatever. Who doesn't like me some Tetris? You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
fucking,
You
fucking
put
Tetris.
you put Tetris in front of a child, they'll understand it.
Exactly.
That's something you have to say something about that.
Number 9, Halo 2.
I think it should be the original, but go on.
Combat Evolved, I think it was 22.
That makes sense. But just Halo 2, really?
The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now, the one side note I have here, I'm glad, because I think the last time they did their top 100, this was number 1.
Or number 2.
It was there. I'm glad this is starting to go lower on the list, because people are finally starting to realize it isn't the fucking tits.
It's more like the areola.
Number 7, Super Metroid.
Yes, it's amazing.
Number 6, Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
Number 5, Portal 2.
That surprised me. I'm surprised it was that high.
Yeah, me as well.
Because Portal 2 is an amazing game, but like the 5th best game of all time really took me by surprise.
Yeah.
Especially because you're saying that's the best Valve game. And they're the guys who made Half-Life.
I also agree that it's the best Valve game, to be honest. Number 4, Super Mario Bros. Again, just because it happened, just because you did it first doesn't mean it's the best.
Yeah.
So it's just, it should be a little lower. Number 3, Doom.
This one
Took me by a huge surprise.
This one shocked the living shit out
Yeah,
of me.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Number 2, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Well,
They're finally starting to recognize that this is the best Zelda game.
Yeah.
I think it deserves to be up here. Number 1, Super Mario Brothers 3. Again, World is better, and just because you did it first, because they did, like, 3 was the first time you had, like, the world map and going through all of that.
And you had the raccoon tail.
yeah,
And
and the frog suit.
can't diss the frog suit, man.
I don't like the frog, because I'm trying to play through 3 right now. I'm stuck on a certain castle, and I don't like I get what they're trying to do, and the frog suit is best for the water worlds, but, like, anywhere else that, like, it's fucking useless.
Yeah.
So, my one note I have for this is, let's see, Halo 2, Half-Life 2, and Portal 2 are the 3 games on the top 10 list that were released after the year 2000. And then the rest of these are before the year 2000. A lot of them from the early 90s and late 80s. I feel like there is a definite nostalgia thing going on when making this list. Because, again, like, Super Mario 64 was my shit when I was a kid. And if we were making, like, a best games of all time and I hadn't played it since then, it would probably be in, like, the top 10 list. The problem, like, you get here is that you get nostalgia taking over, like, the objectively good things about a game, and you're letting that shape your thoughts about this. And I don't know, like, I know it's impossible to play, like, all of these games and really get a feel for, like, yeah, like, this is still holds up, and it's hard to do that, you know, because I'm sure these aren't the only games they discussed, you know. So
what I'm more concerned about is not like the placement, but there are some really weird games that they just didn't mention, like no Ratchet and Clank games. Like,
I wouldn't agree with Ratchet and Clank.
I'd put up your Arsenal on there at least, because that's a really good game.
And it's like, I'm more of a Jack and Dexter person, but and those are very similar games, but I wouldn't put Jack and Dexter up on the top 100.
There's like, you would have thought they would have put one of the first 2 Guitar Heroes. Guitar Hero 2 makes sense on this list, doesn't it?
I don't know. I think Rock Band didn't make sense on this list, to be honest.
Well, it's probably one of the best party games of all time. So you have to get that.
That's true. So my thought is here: there's too much of a last generation look to this.
Yeah.
And what I asked you guys, because you wanted to bring up this topic, so I asked you guys to think about, what do you think are the top 5 games of all time? Like the best 5 games. Doesn't have to be any specific order.
Spawn for PlayStation, Spawn for Dreamcast, Spawn for PlayStation 2.
So this is
Shrek
this
Wrestling.
is our transition into like what I want this discussion to be about after looking at this list is, what do you think the top 5 best games are
I'll let
of
Ricky
all
hold
time?
this.
Not your favorite. Again, like as an example, Donkey Kong 64 is my favorite game of all time, but I don't think it's one of the best games of all time, to be honest. I know there's a lot of problems with it.
I think we can all definitely agree that
And you don't have to have any in order, but I want to hear 5 from each of you.
right.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that The Last of Us is a pretty good contender
Jaws Unleashed.
for one of the greatest games.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
So I'm gonna read my
you
list.
don't
I'm
sound
gonna read. I think Last of Us, like I said earlier, I think Last of Us, if we were to do like 100, I think Last of Us would definitely be like top 10.
Right.
Here are my 5, starting from 5. You guys are gonna be very surprised by this.
Am I?
5, Super Mario World.
Yeah.
4, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
3, The Witcher 3. 2, Journey. And 1, Portal 2.
Interesting.
I think The Witcher 3 is a phenomenal fucking game.
The Witcher 3, really?
No kissing at the table.
I think, like, honestly, I think those are and I know it's hard to say that, and you, the audience listening to you, you're like, Barrett, you're too impartial because you're a young kid and you're talking about all these recent games. But
Wash
the
my
fucking,
back.
Chrono Trigger, that came out when I was like, I think even before I was born.
Yeah, it's like
And-
1991 or 2.
Yeah, and that game still fucking holds up. I don't get into like RPGs, Western or Japanese
Oriental.
RPGs. But The Witcher 3 and Chrono Trigger stood out and are able to pull you in and have these RPG elements but still have great story. And like the moment in Chrono Trigger where he sacrifices himself in the middle of that game was like one of the best moments in gaming. And Journey is a beautiful game. And that game is literally about life and accepting death. And it's able to do that without telling you this is what it's about. Like, you can interpret it any way you want, but I think it's obvious that the message they were trying to get through is you only have this one goal in life and you're not really sure what it is until you get there, and when you get there, that's sort of the end of your journey. And it's a very sentimental piece, and I think when you think of video games, when video games should be considered as art, Journey is like one of those games that you'd use as an example. And then I think Portal 2 has that great mixture of games can be considered as like pieces of art, but also games can be really fun and make you think of how to get from point A to point B. So I don't know. What are your guys' takes? What do you guys think would be like the top 5 best games of all time?
Okay. First of all,
That's my spiel.
Super Mario Galaxy.
Okay.
Now, see, every time he mentions Super Mario Galaxy, I always consider it from a personal standpoint, not from it actually being like an
Good.
all-around good game.
But here's
that's
the thing.
and that's like what I started questioning. But then I hear from everyone else as well. Like Super
like
Mario
just Super
Galaxy
Mario
is like a
Galaxy.
fantastic, phenomenal
Yeah,
game.
because I remember when I first heard about it, I thought, this looks dumb. Why is Mario in space?
Yeah.
But then I played it, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I don't know why my voice was cracking at 10, but
So
that's one of them.
yeah. Okay.
And then, see, I've been working on my list of the best games of all time. Because that's what I do, because no one loves me. My mother. My mother. DuckTales for the NES. I do love that game. Woo. I do love that game, but I don't think it's one of the best.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just for the most part, I think
spitballing here.
for the most part, I think I'm going by like what's the best example for certain genres.
That's what I was thinking of right now.
StarCraft I'd have to say.
Okay.
Because StarCraft is like the definition of what a real-time strategy game should be. And like, it's so well made.
But I hate those games.
People still play the original.
Yeah.
Because it's so well made. And it's a fantastic game. And I remember playing like that game when I was in elementary school. Like in my after-school program. That was the game that was on all the computers.
Nice.
So all the kids would just go into like the servers and fight each other in it.
That's fun.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? Super Metroid?
Okay, yeah.
Because Super Metroid is just like the perfect kind of like Metroidvania action-adventure kind of game.
Yeah.
Like, it's well made. It's so well made. There's so much love put in it. It's just a fantastic game. Let's see. Earthbound. Earthbound's my favorite RPG of all time.
Okay.
Because I love that game. Like, that... A lot of these are Nintendo games. I feel like shit.
Yeah. I feel like
You
might
should
be,
feel like shit.
I feel like you might be putting a little too much personal.
But, like... If this was going personal, I would have put a Ratchet and Clank game on here already.
That's true.
But, like, Earthbound is such a well-made RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and things from that still resonate with people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to say the final fight with Gygas is probably the best fight, the best final boss in any game. Just because whenever you play it, you're just like, Mother, hold me. So, yeah, Earthbound, and then I need one more for, like, what's a perfect game. I just start talking about cats.
Kitty. This whole topic was like a spiel to get to cats.
To cats. I planned this perfectly.
And, this is hard. This is hard, trying to figure out what, like, the other, like...
Yeah, it was hard. Like, I literally spent, like, 4 hours thinking about those 5 choices. So I wasn't just like, oh, Witcher 3 hype. Like, I actually
Witcher 3, bruh. Witcher 3, bruh. I totally played 1 and 2. I'm such a big fan of the series.
See, I'm trying to figure out, like, because I like fighting games, what is the best of any fighting game? And I'm going to go with the original Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast. What? What, did you want me to say Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Mega Hyper Edition?
The only thing running through my head when you mentioned fighter games was if he says Tekken, I'm kicking his ass.
Tekken's so good, bruh.
No, it's not.
Do you hate Tekken?
Yes, because my Asian step siblings
My Asian stepladder?
played that all the time, and I thought it was weird that you can play as a Mexican wrestler with an actual leopard head.
And that game sucks because of that.
And that game, and his name's King.
But no, I think Soul Calibur 2 is the best fighting game.
Okay.
Because it's so incredibly, like, well balanced in it. And the fighting mechanics are still amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when that game came out for Xbox 360, like the arcade, I bought it and it holds up amazingly.
Okay.
It is a really fun fighting game.
Ricky.
And it's not the most recent Soul Calibur where you have to pay for all the fighters.
Yeah.
Did you say your 5 already?
Yeah.
Okay. Ricky. Say your 5 again.
It was Super Mario Galaxy, Earthbound, Super Metroid, Soul Calibur, and what was the 5th one I said?
You said Soul Calibur last.
Yeah. What was the other one I said? Do I know you?
So, did you say Super Metroid?
Yes.
I did say Super Metroid. I know it was on this list. StarCraft.
StarCraft, there you go. Okay. Ricky, what do you think are your top 5 best games of all time?
Tekken 2, Tekken 3,
This was
Tekken
really
Tournament.
hard for me to like think about last night because everything that popped up were like my favorite games personally,
Yeah.
and I still wasn't sure.
You're gonna
whether-
say Bully,
Like,
aren't you?
again, if I went personal, it would be like Donkey Kong 64,
Yeah.
Batman Arkham City. Like,
So I started off
These
with like
nuts.
games that I don't like and see how it went from there, and like actually looking through reviews and stuff.
objectively and
Yeah.
seeing.
But I couldn't find anything. So I was just thinking,
Prepared as ever, as always.
as usual.
The perfect choice. MIDI.
One of the contenders that I put on there was Fallout 3, just because of the majority of people that love it so damn much.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I mean, in a way, it is a really well thought out game, and Bethesda does put like every little amount of sweat that they can into Fallout games when they do, and that being like the best of the series, or at least.
Well, yeah, 1 and 2 wasn't even similar at all to 3 because it wasn't a different developer at that time.
It was
for
like
1 and 2.
It was like pretty much a completely different fucking game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a RPG.
It was like the first one was like an over like the screen like 2D.
Both of them were.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, wait. Both of them were like those isometric RPG kind
Yeah,
of games.
sure. It wasn't
Where you're like,
literally over the top, but it was like this weird like
Yeah.
No, Fallout 3 was over the top.
And just for the sole reason that for the time it was like mind-blowingly fucking amazing. You know what I mean?
It gave me a boner.
Again, you can't factor in nostalgia here.
Yeah, I know.
That's what gets in people's ways, and that's like my point of like when you brought up this topic. That's the point I wanted to make. Is that like I feel like a lot of people are letting nostalgia get in the way of what objectively is like the best of all time.
Right.
Which is Jaws Unleashed.
The one thing that I know for sure is that none of mine are going to be in an exact order, but my for sure number one is the same as yours. It's Portal 2. Because I think that game is like there's nothing fucking wrong with it at all.
Like 10 out of 10s usually don't mean perfection, but if I was to get I would say that Portal 2 is perfection.
Yeah.
Very smooth gameplay. The puzzles are very interesting. They're not too they're one of those. Portal 2 is like one of the, and the Portal series in general, it's like one of those very few puzzler games where the puzzles aren't super easy and they aren't like super bullshit.
Yeah.
And like when you finally solve the puzzle, you're like, that was my fucking fault. It was my fault. It was my own fucking fault that I couldn't get this before.
Exactly.
And now that it's not the game's fault ever.
I'm like literally always in the mood to play it.
Yeah,
always.
exactly.
I can play that fucking thing for hours. So for sure, Portal 2 is my number one. Despite how I feel about Fallout, I do still want to put it on there. Yeah. Because I do feel like overall that game is pretty
I would
fucking
agree
good.
with that too. Like Fallout 3 was pretty low on the IGN list. And I would probably put it higher.
And
just because of what it accomplished and how the gameplay felt and how good it is even like today.
Yeah. And that being said, I do hate the Fallout series though, other than like 3. So 1
and 2 don't really count anymore.
I hate New Vegas. Like I hate that series, period. I don't like that universe. I just don't.
But 3 is good.
But I like 3, so that's the reason why I'm putting it up there. That like I just hate this series, but for some reason 3 was really good. So Fallout 3, Portal 2.
Say it. You want to say it?
No.
Mafia 2.
That's all personal. Yeah, this is not a great game.
Bully.
Did I mention Bully? So Bully is my.
I almost said Bully because I do. That is a good game.
No.
Just Bully's too personal for me.
Like playing through Bully, we did our Let's Play series of Bully
until you quit.
Until I quit because I was way too fucking tired of it. And that's the thing is like we could go back to Portal 2 all the fucking time.
I can't. I play Bully once.
Is like fucking taking a long ass shit. It feels good every once in a while. But if you have like fucking 3 long ass shits in a day, it's like it's too much, man.
Yeah.
The gameplay is very, very basic. It's like a torn down version of like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Yep.
And the story's fun. The Bully game is all about that story and that universe. On a gameplay level, it sort of sucks.
Yeah. So yeah, Portal 2, Fallout 3. This one is another like, I do love it on a personal level, but there are aspects to it that completely change the genre and kind of set the bar for storytelling in video games. And
RV Horse Adventures.
I think Silent Hill 2 is a great contender, at least for my list. I know I love fucking game to death.
Yeah, you're a horror game.
I love that game to death personally, but I do feel like it completely changed the aspect of like, oh, this game just needs to be scary. Like the whole game is actually like not even about that. It's all about emotions and different like the like 7 stages of grief, and like everything represents something in the universe. You just need to pay attention and see it from that standpoint.
I agree. It's a great Jacob's Ladder game.
Instead of like just trying to survive, there's a lot a lot of things.
I didn't know Vince Gilligan made Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, right.
Everything means something. Pay attention to the colors.
Pyramid Head, we have to cook.
So I think Silent Hill 2 would also be on my top 5. I really want to say Doom, but I just like Doom a lot.
Yeah, I was really surprised that was number 3.
Yeah,
imagine playing Doom, but the whole soundtrack's replaced with Gurr going Doom, 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 Doom.
How many have you said so far?
I've said Silent Hill 2, Portal 2, Fallout 3. I need 2 more.
If you want to just say Last of Us and then keep going.
I really want to say Last of Us.
Yeah. You're allowed to say that. Like I feel strongly for it. I don't for like my personal viewpoint of objective gameplay. It wouldn't be top 5. It would definitely be top 10 though.
Yeah, like I'm kind of straying to that point too, because that's another game where like I'll play it once. And I'm not gonna play it for like a year.
Yeah.
Because I just went through hell.
Yeah.
So I really don't want to say that. I want to say.
For me, the definition of a game that's like you love, but it's not like objectively a great game, Spider-Man 2. You play it to swing around. Who actually plays the missions?
Right. Oh, duh.
It's like a stress reliever.
And then like the Red Dead keeps popping up in my head, but I think that's more like of a top 10 type of thing, because Red Dead is a great game overall. Yeah. But there are things about it that do put me off. Fuck. I can totally think of another 2. Son of a bitch.
It's okay. You don't have to think of all 5.
Yeah.
If you can't think of anything else.
I know I had some last night.
Guitar Hero, Aerosmith.
Of course not.
Of course, yes.
Do you just want to leave it there, or do you want to say at least one more?
I really want to put Banjo-Kazooie, but I think that's another personal thing as well.
Oh no, Banjo-Kazooie's amazing.
Yeah.
But y'all talk shit about Donkey Kong 64.
Because Banjo-Kazooie's better.
I play Banjo-Kazooie more.
People complain about fucking Donkey Kong 64 because it's a collectible game. And Banjo-Kazooie is literally the fucking same thing. Banjo-Kazooie
is literally a copy and paste of Donkey Kong 64 with different characters.
Excuse me, the best Banjo-Kazooie game is Nuts and Bolts.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fucking.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
No,
I think I'm just gonna leave it there because I really can't think of one.
We might come back to this in a later time, or we can think about this for months and months and months, and come back to it at
Guitar
one point
Hero Live
next year, and like look back at like what we originally said, and then it might be a recurring thing.
We all have beards.
So thank you so much for joining us for today's topic of talking shit. Today's topic, of course, was sort of the best video games of all time.
And why IGN is wrong.
Yeah, I don't think Super Mario Brothers 3 is a bad game. I think it should be up in like the 30s or something. Not best game of all time. Come on, guys.
What the hell is that voice? Stop it.
Guys.
Give me my mother. What's my mother?
Really,
and thank you for joining us for this episode of Talking Shit. Of course, you can leave your thoughts about what we said in the comments below. If you liked what we said, you can like that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any topic suggestions for Talking Shit, you can always email them at us at baiazonagamers@gmail.com. And if you want to keep up with what BGG's doing, you can always follow us on Twitter collectively at baiazonagamers. You can follow me at Bananlerchong. Henry is at Henrosaurus. Ricky over here is at Baldazon96. And our tech guy 7 is at 7Morris, but the Owen Morris is at 0. You can check that shit in the description below. If you want more BCG content, of course, check out the rest of our page. Check out SoundCloud, all that good shit. Links in descriptions below and all that.
Oh god, he's having a panic attack.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Talking Shit. And until next time, have a great day full of shit talking and... I don't know.
James Cameron, the amazing.
What? That doesn't, that's not about
Right?
No!
And collectathons.